All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the second edition of our Learn Athletic Live webinar series. Today, we're going to touch on some FinishLynx real-time fun, specifically as it relates to track and field. And we're going to look at three primary topics. We're going to look at splits, how to do live standings, and how to show real-time qualifiers. My name is Ben Thomas. I'm the creator of AthleticLIVE, and I'll be hosting this webinar today. We do have two panelists on the webinar as well, Graham Dudick and Kim Modaleski of Athletic Timing. If you have any questions while I'm proceeding through the webinar, please feel free to use the Zoom Q&A feature to ask those questions, and they'll be more than happy to help out. They've been using AthleticLIVE for a few years now, so they'll be able to answer any questions that you have. And if you did happen to miss our first webinar last week, everything for this Learn Athletic Live webinar series exists at this link right here, help.athleticlive/timers/learnathleticlive. And in the chat, I did post a link to these PowerPoint slides. So you can open that link up and you'll be able to click on this link and a few other links that we have in here. So our topics today. First things first is splits. We'll give an overview of how to do splits in FinishLynx and how they look on AthleticLIVE. And there's already a really good, just a quick 4 or 5 minute overview that FinishLynx put out a few years ago about how to do splits and the way we're going to do them today. How they recommend if you've not done splits before, definitely give this a look, because everything we do today is based on this. And I'll touch on what they've done here, but may not go into quite as much detail with regards to how to set FinishLynx up to do splits. So I highly recommend you give that a look. Once we talk about splits, then we'll move on to compiled results. So we'll talk about when you have multi-heat events, say you've got 20 heats the 100-meter dash at a big invitational, how can you be showing results as you move through each heat as opposed to having to wait till an event is over. So if you're on heat 8, those 20, you can see the compiled results from heats 1 through 7, and as you click in FinishLynx, for heat 8, you'll be able to see those results for heat 8 show up in those compiled results as well. And last but not least, we'll take a look at real-time qualifiers with bubble time. So when you're on a qualifying event, whether it's a prelim or a semi or even a quarterfinal, there's some kind of methodology for advancement. And it's usually either advancement by time only. So we're going to take maybe the top 8 people, or it's place and time, where you might take the winner of each heat plus the next best times. With AthleticLIVE, at any point during that, we'll just call it a preliminary round, say you're on heat 3 and there's 4 heats, you can see who the qualifiers are at that moment, and you can see what the bubble time is. So bubble time, what I mean by this is, say we're doing time-only advancement, and so we know the top 8 are going. We can take that 8th time and say, if you can run faster than this time, you know you're going to make it in. Of course, unless other people in that heat run faster than that as well. But it kind of gives you an idea, spectators and coaches an idea. Maybe if a coach's kid's in the last heat, he can keep up to date with this and see, all right, well, you know, I know my kid needs to run this, and he can yell that out to him as he's getting ready to start. So it just goes along with the methodology we have at AthleticLIVE of trying to get as much data that you've got in your meet management systems and your FAT systems as possible, trying to get that out to people. And today's primarily, we'll just be in FinishLynx. We'll use high-tech a little bit I've set the meet up in high-tech, but if you use Meet Pro or other systems, but you use FinishLynx as well, this will still apply to you. The requirements for today, just need to do the things that we're doing. You just need to have FinishLynx greater than 9.0 and the NCP plugin or the Netcom plugin. It's just what allows data to be sent from FinishLynx to a source on the internet, in this case, AthleticLIVE. And if you'd like to follow along on your own, you can go to this link, anet.live/learn2. This link is also in the Zoom chat, but this is the meet where we'll be sending all of our data today, so you can follow along on your own, on your phone, or on your computer, and watch the live scoreboard as we progress. So let's go ahead and jump into splits. And Before we jump into FinishLynx, just want to quickly give you an overview of the test meet that we're doing today. So in this test meet, we have 8 events, first being a 1,600 meter run. We'll use this event to demo splits. After that, we'll move on to these 300 meter hurdles. We'll use this event to demonstrate compiled and heat by heat results. For the 100 meter dashes, we'll use this to demo advancement by time only. So I believe in this case we've got 4 different heats. There's 8 lanes, and we're going to advance the top 8 out of these prelims into a final. And then with the girls 200 meter dash, we'll be demoing place and time advancement. So you have so once again, we've got 4 heats, we've got 8 lanes, and we're going to take the top 4 winners plus the next 4 best times. So that should be most of what we do in high tech today. So let's jump into FinishLynx. So in order to set FinishLynx up to receive splits, and once again, that YouTube video I mentioned, definitely take a look at that. We're going to go into lap time, click options, and we're going to click new for a lap time device. And we want to make sure the device is set to from image, and actually pretty much all of these defaults are what we want. So we've got it from image. In our case, we're not worried about serial ports or anything like that because we're not receiving splits from chips or from other sources. It's simply going to be us marking them in FinishLynx. We're going to be marking by lane today, so we want to keep that lane, and we do want to create results for the last split. So once again, you just click new, and really all of these defaults can stay. So click OK, and we'll need to restart FinishLynx. I'll go ahead and do that. If we go back into lap time, we'll see that this is now running. So we know we're good to go here. So let's go ahead and open up a 1,600 meter run. Cool. And actually, looks like, so I would expect to see something here because I opened an event. So most likely my ports are not right. So I'm just gonna go ahead, head into my scoreboards, go down to the bottom here where I have my results and running time scoreboards. And this is fairly common. I've just probably got it set to an old meets ports. So I'm gonna go into the AthleticLIVE admin. I'm going to go down to my ports, take a look here. Yep, so for my results ports, I need that to be 17,654, and my running time port to be 17,655. Cool, so hopefully if I go back to the meet now, yes, all right, so a girls 1,600 meter run is right there. So it happens that quick. If you open up FinishLynx and you don't see anything there, that would be the first thing to check. Just make sure those ports are set up correctly. So we'll head in here. Now, we have just a couple things to do to get ready to do splits. So for this test meet, this is going to be on an outdoor track. So we want to do 4 laps. This is helpful. So I'm going to click 4 in here, click enter. This is helpful because as we mark splits in FinishLynx, this number of laps will go down. So when I click the first split for this guy Simmons here, we'll see that it goes down to 3. And this can help as maybe it's not so important if you've only got 7 people in a mile, but if you're trying to do, let's say 20 people in a 3,200 meter run indoors, you've really got to keep an eye on this. And if someone seems to be falling behind, it very well could be because they're getting lapped, or it could be because you missed a split. So let's go ahead here and start getting some data coming in. So today I am just I'm going to start with my radio links. I'm just going to use manual capture because today we're going to be doing a lot of camera opening, and instead of waving my hand a whole bunch in front of the lens to get it to show up, we'll just do some manual capturing. So all right, so in order to mark a split in FinishLynx, what you're going to do is you're going to click on where the person might be, and instead of hitting enter like you normally would to mark a finish time, you're going to hit shift and enter. When I hit shift and enter and I got to put a lane in there. So we got lane 2, shift and enter. It's going to mark the first split for this person at 10.499. So we see here 10:50 got marked in. There's a couple things that we have here. One is the cumulative split, which because this is the first lap, we're seeing the cumulative split, the cumulative split and the lap split are the same. And we also see the number of laps to go. So we can see that at this point, this person is the first person that's come through, and we see that they're in the lead and they've got 3 to go. So I'll go ahead and mark a few more right here. Now, as you can imagine, trying to click Shift Enter is going to get really tedious really fast. It's a lot of extra keystrokes, a lot of moving across the board. Probably not something that you want to do for anything more than 7 people in an outdoor 1,600 meter run. So there's a few tricks to this. The one that I like is to configure your mouse or program a mouse to have a button do Shift Enter for you. My mouse is a Logitech M510. It's like 20 or 30 bucks, pretty cost effective. And if a mouse is programmable, there's some kind of program that you can download in order to program that mouse. In my case with this Logitech mouse, it's something called Logi Options, which I'm going to open right here. And this is a really nice interface for programming the mouse. I can't guarantee that every mouse is going to be like this. But so what I want to do is pick a button on my mouse that I don't use a lot and configure it to click Shift Enter for me. And in my case, I prefer the middle button here. So I'm going to click on the middle button, and I need to go more because I'm looking for some kind of keystroke. And when you're looking around in your own software, you want to do something, something like keystroke assignment. So there'll be a way to assign a keystroke to a button. So click on this, and in this case, click in the white box above and press a valid key combination. So I'm just going to hit Shift and Enter. And so now whenever I click that middle button, it's going to do a split for me. So click out of here and just mouse over that, verify that it's the Shift Enter is going to work, which looks like it will. Awesome. All right, so now let's go ahead and get some more data in here. There we go, 3 minutes. So now I'm going to click a number, and instead of hitting Shift Enter, I'm just going to click my mouse button. And this can go pretty quick now. So I can just go ahead and click my numbers, click the middle mouse button, and all that's getting up to AthleticLIVE fairly quickly. And you'll notice here, now the cumulative time is different than the lap time. So the cumulative time for his second lap, he's now at 3 minutes, and the last split was 2:50. And we've got 2 laps to go. So just briefly go ahead and finish this app here. So click some random numbers. Oops, 67 is not in there. Click that out. 7 and 1. Now let's go ahead and get a few more. Now, when you're on this last split, you have to click Enter, not Shift Enter. At least that's what I found. So if I'm here and I click Shift Enter, it's going to give me no laps, but it's not going to fill in my time. So what I can do here is I can just click Enter, or what I like to do is just clear that out. So you can use this button right here to remove the last split that you created, this red X over the I. I'll do that. And then right here, I'll just click Enter. So that's going to give me the last split, but it's also going to add a time in there as well. So we'll do that with a few more. And I guess one final piece on this is, let's say somehow that you may have missed a split at some point, or you want to go take a look at the splits that you've made. To do that, you'll highlight a person, go to lap time, click Edit Split Times, and then you can see here all of the times that you made. So that first split being 10:89, the second one being much longer, and you can see your cumulative and lap time splits here. And if you need to delete one, you can click the delete button right there. We'll click OK. So now we've got 7 people that have completed 4 laps. We can see here in AthleticLIVE that we're seeing finish times now. So we're not seeing that there are any laps to go because this person's finished. So let's go ahead and save this. And one thing you may note is that in our system, we do only show the cumulative time and the last split. Eventually, at some point, I believe we'll be able to get to a point where we can show all the splits at once. But this does make it very friendly on mobile, because if you're on a mobile device, seeing all splits for a 10K for every single person might not be the nicest thing. So we're working on some ways to make that work. But for now, it's just that last split and then the lap time and the laps to go. However, when you do save this and bring this into your meet management system, which I'll go ahead and do, this would be the same if you were doing it in a Meet Pro as well. You're just bringing it in and you're scoring it, and you're hitting F12 to upload it. We can then show all the splits that you made. So all those splits were not in vain. They're going to show up at some point. So we'll head into our girls 1600. We can see that final results are now available. And if I go to the splits tab here, we'll see all those splits you made now show up. And this is a little small because this is what it looks like on a mobile device. If we were to go out to a tablet view or a desktop view, that's going to get a little bigger. And you can see here that it's not just the splits that you're seeing, but you're actually seeing the place movement as well. So you can see that this person right here went from 4th place to 3rd place between the 2nd and 3rd lap. This person went from 2nd down to 7th, and it looks like everybody came through in the same place in the 4th lap that they came through in the 3rd lap. All right. So that's the basics of splits. Definitely can take a while to get used to. Where really once you program the mouse, it's not super hard. But obviously, if you're the only person at a meet trying to do this and trying to do everything else, it doesn't work so well. So it's definitely something that you would want to do with a second person there, or if you're just really, really good and can handle it on your own, you can do that. But I know I probably do 4 or 5 meets a year in different veins now, and I definitely never do splits unless there's someone else to handle the high-tech stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and we've got that saved. We've got our splits up. Let's go ahead and jump into the second portion of this webinar, which is compiled and heat by heat results. So let me go ahead, minimize FinishLynx for the moment. And we're going to use the 300-meter hurdles as our example for what compiled and heat by heat results are like. So we didn't get to take a look at that feature in the girls' 1600-meter run because there was only one heat, so there wasn't a lot to see there. But what we'll see here is this girls' 300-meter hurdles has got 3 heats. And as we proceed through in FinishLynx, and we proceed through each heat, we'll see that these results show up, and it allows you to keep working in FinishLynx, not worry about uploading data from anywhere else. It's just what you click in FinishLynx shows up online. And that's what people see on their devices. And that can be helpful too. If you accidentally make a mistake of some sort, people can let you know about it sooner. You can get it corrected maybe even before the meet ends. So let's head back into FinishLynx, and let's go ahead and go to the girls 300-meter run or 300-meter hurdles. And let's head back here, and we can see that our live event has changed to the 300-meter hurdles. Got our 4 people here. So let's go ahead and start it. And you'll notice here that up top, we've got 5 different tabs. The first one is live, which is whatever's live in FinishLynx right now. The second one is compiled, which is going to show all the results that you've made in FinishLynx from a particular event. The third is by heat, which we have nothing here because we have no heats yet. And the 4th and 5th are just your entries. So even though you're on the live scoreboard right now, if there were 20 heats, it might be helpful to go to heat sheets. And if you're on heat 10, refresh your memory for who's in a particular heat. In this case, I'll just go ahead and get some images here. We'll make some marks. See those marks appearing on the live scoreboard. And in our compiled zone, we see also that we've got those 4 people here as well. We can see that we've got all 4 of heat 1's results. So that's cool. We'll go ahead and save that. And we will head to the second heat. Let's get this started. And Once we get some marks from the second heat, they're going to appear among the marks here from heat 1. So you as the timer, you're just rolling. The starter's starting, you're reading as you're marking things in FinishLynx. Those things are getting added here into compiled. So we'll go ahead and get some times here. Obviously, it's a little faster than that first heat, so these are all going to appear on top. But once I click 2 here, we'll see that that second person, or the first person in the second heat, appears here on top of everybody from heat 1. Go ahead and get some more time so we can show people above and below. 3 and 4. All right, so we've got our top 2 people from heat 2 that are at the first and second, or that are at the first and second place here among all our results, and then the other 2 people are below everybody else in heat 1. And if I wanted to take a look at a particular heat, maybe I know that my kid's in heat 6 and we're on heat 13, and I don't want to look through a huge list of people. I can go to by heat, click on heat 2, and see all of heat 2's results. Same thing for heat 1. So we've got one more heat here. Let's go ahead and finish that and finish up this event. So I'll go here to the next heat. Just run for a few seconds here. And one thing I do want to note too, so we're on the 300-meter hurdles. Right now we're on the live scoreboard page. We could also head over to the girls 300 hurdles page and view this same data here. So it's 2 different places. There's an event page, there's a live scoreboard page. The difference being the live scoreboard page is always going to show what's on the live scoreboard at any particular point. And the event page is, as soon as this event is done, it's not going to change. You'll be able to continue looking at compiled results, continue looking at by heat results, and then as soon as final results come in, they'll appear here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get some times. This heat's going to be a good bit slower than our other heats. All right, so go ahead and save this. And if we look here at our compiled results, we'll see all these guys from heat 3 showed up at the end here. They are in 9th through 12th. Go ahead and save this. We'll bring this into our meet management system. Once again, if you're in Meet Pro, same thing. You're just going to bring it into your meet management system, score it, and upload it. And then here, within a few seconds, these live results from FinishLynx are going to change into final scored results from, in this case, High Tech. So once again, the point being that we want as much data as possible that you've got in your FAT system or your meet management system to appear on AthleticLIVE. We want to make this the place where people know they can come and get an accurate look at whatever's happening in the meet at any given point. So now the last item we're going to discuss today, but by no means the least, is real-time qualifiers. So this is something that we released in the summer of 2019, something we wanted to do for a long time. Finally, we're able to get it done, and it's been, we got to see it a little bit in the summer and a little bit in the winter, but didn't quite get to use it here in the spring as much as we wanted to, but I'm sure we'll all be getting back to that shortly. So the idea being that at any point during an event, we can see what a particular qualifying time is. And just to illustrate what this is, I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint and head to this slide. So let's take this example of, we've got 4 heats in our 100-meter dash, and we're finished with 2 of those heats. So what does real-time qualifying look at? How does it look at this moment? So if this event were time only, we know that we are bringing the top 8 people into the final, into the final. So we can see here that on AthleticLIVE, we're going to see a small queue next to each of these guys, meaning that they're going to qualify on time only. And the bubble time is 11:56. So a coach knows, hey, if my kid can get above 11:56 in this next heat, he's going to move into qualifying position and have a chance to qualify for the final. It's a little different with place and time. because we know that we have 4 heats, and we know that we're advancing 8 people, we know that we're always going to take the top person in each heat and then the next 4 best times. So because we know we're only taking 4 people by time, we can do a little math and see that the bubble time really is 11.33, because there's going to be 2 other people from heats that are not finished yet that are automatically going to qualify. So this gives just a little bit more information to that coach, and he knows that it's not that he needs to run 11:56, his kid needs to run 11:33 or better to get in the final. So now we'll take a look at how that works and what that looks like in AthleticLIVE. So I'll go ahead and open up the girls 100-meter dash, and once again, this is going to illustrate time-only qualification. All right, so let's go ahead and start the event, and we'll start getting some times right around 5 seconds. Cool. All right, so we'll go into the girls 100-meter dash, and we'll make some marks here, pick some random numbers. And we can see those times starting to appear on the AthleticLIVE scoreboard. And if we head to our compiled screen, we will see that right now, all 8 of these people are in qualifying position. I should mention too that the advancement procedures are always shown here at the very top of the page, so we can see top 8 advanced by time. And on the compiled screen, we're also going to see the advancement procedure as well as the bubble time. So in this case, everyone's qualifying on time, and you got to run 6:17 or better to make it into the next heat. So I'll go ahead and save this, and we'll head to the next heat, start the event, get some times here in a second. Okay, so looks like our first one is going to be 5:44, so they should appear right there in second place. There we go, so Deborah Lewis, she's now in second place, and Helen Richardson, who was previously in 8th place, now no longer has a qualifying symbol next to her time, and the bubble time is now 6:09. So I'll go ahead and fill this out, and as I fill this out, that bubble time is changing, and the standings are changing. All right, so let's head to the next heat. Now, another thing that can happen in this case is, what if you've got 2 people in the last qualifying spot? So let's go ahead and make that happen so we can see how AthleticLIVE handles that. All right, so let's go ahead and look for 587 if I got it. Yes, so 587. All right, so let's mark that. Now we've got something a little bit different here. So we see there are 2 people in the final qualifying position. They've got a Q and a question mark next to them. And if we look in the legend at the bottom of the page, we can see that qualification is under review. So the idea here being is it gives some standing to a timer. If someone were to screenshot this page and come to you and argue, you can say no, that Q question mark means that we haven't decided yet. It's under some kind of review. And also at the top of the page here, we do say that ties and DQs may not be accurate. So if you have any kind of concern about doing this live and communicating who these qualifiers might be, we've tried hard here to communicate to coaches that this is unofficial. They may not be 100% accurate because you still got to review it. We think the benefit of having this data front and center is better than waiting till the end of the meet or waiting till the end of the event to see it. So in this case, if I were to mark someone in front of them, that's going to go away because now they're in 9th place and they're no longer in any kind of qualifying position. And if I were to go to by heat, we also show the qualifiers in each heat. So in heat 1, I can see these 4 people qualified. Heat 2, these 3 people are qualified. And in heat 3, this person's qualified. So I'll go ahead briefly and just finish out this heat. and quickly finish out the next one as well. And then upload this from the meet management system. So we have this, we have these results finalized, and you can see what the qualification looks like once it's been brought into the meet management system. It's been finalized. Let's go back to compile. And actually, let's see, can I get a 5? Try and get a 570, get another 574 in here so we can do a tie break on it. All right, so 7. Get another one there. All right, so we got 3 people that are currently tied for that last spot. So we're still doing that, still communicating that, hey, you know, we need to take a look at this and the timer's going to make a final decision. So save this. We'll bring this into the meet management system. We'll do our Control T to break ties. And then we'll list it. And we can see we've only got 8 qualifiers. This person missed out by 3 thousandths of a second. And we'll go ahead and upload that. And once it comes here in the recent updates, I believe actually, yeah, cool. So we've got our, so girls 100 meter dash prelims, and we can see that these 8 people qualified to the next round. And then because of that thousands tie, that note's being made in the meet management system and being uploaded and shown here. So the coach can see, yeah, my kid ran 574, but didn't quite make it. So that's how time-only qualification looks. Place and time qualification is a little bit, it's similar, but a little bit different. There's just a different algorithm going on there. So let's go ahead and jump into this girls 200 meter dash. Need to load the schedule and go there. All right, so let's get this started here. And let's go ahead and head back to our live scoreboard. Girls 200 meter dash. And because the advancement here is 8 advance with the top winner, the top 1 in each heat plus the next 4 best times advancing, we should only see 1 big Q and 3 little Qs showing up here. And I should note too that I need to get on the compile screen before I can see that. We don't show qualifiers yet on this live tab, but they do show up on the compiled and the by heat tabs. So right now, yes, we've got our heat winner that's qualified, and we have the next 4 best times with our bubble time being 10.06. Save this, head to the next heat. Get some times here. So now we've got 2 big Qs. And we can see here that this is all being sorted by time, not necessarily, it's not taking into account that this person, all we're doing here is communicating this person is qualified. We're not trying to reorganize the standings. Part of that's because this is all live and unofficial anyway. You can see this person's, they've run 9:35. They're currently in 4th, but they have automatically qualified. Finish marking out this heat here. Okay. Now let's head to the next heat, and we'll look at it. We'll just take a look at one more example of something that can happen here. So in this case, we'll wait till about maybe 10 seconds, and we'll show what happens when a heat winner is below the last of the best times it can get in. So we'll take a look here and just mark somebody, and we'll see that they appear all the way at the bottom here, but they still have that Q next to them. So we're always showing who the qualifiers are, and we're always showing them in time order. So I'll go ahead and fill this out here. and then head to the next heat. We'll fill this one out. This is the last heat of this girls 200. And we'll do the same thing we did with the girls 100. We'll bring this into the meet management system and upload it online. So I'll go ahead and mark these here. All right, so we've got our heat winners here with the big Qs, and then our next best times. Looks like the bubble time here is 9:30. So if someone had run out here, they'd kick that person out, but unfortunately they did not. Our fake race here. So this will be formatted just a little bit differently in high tech. They're going to put this person in first, Lillian Parker second, Laura Roberts third, and then our guy down here, the heat winner, all the way at the bottom in fourth. Save this. We'll head back into high tech, bring these in, list it. We can see there's our top 4 qualifiers and our next 4 best times. And we'll go ahead and upload those. And then we'll go ahead and head to the girls 200 event, where the final results will pop right in here. And we can see that there's our 4 heat winners and our 4 next best times. All right, so that concludes the instructional portion of this second Learn Athletic Live webinar. As I mentioned, there's a number of different resources where you can take a look at more information on this. And I'll also go ahead, I saw there were a few questions and a few chats come in. I'll go ahead and take a look through those since we have a little bit of extra time here and see if there's anything that I can answer while we're still on this webinar. But before we do get to that, I want to note a couple links. This one's that link I mentioned, the FinishLynx video on capturing splits. This second video by FinishLynx, also good for handling common split errors. Say you miss a split somewhere and you're in the middle of the race. How do you fix it quickly without having to wait till the end of the race so you can finish the race with all your splits correct? We do have some information on compiled and heat by heat results in FinishLynx, just some information for you, kind of describes a little bit about what you need to do as a timer to keep things moving quickly on your end to show that data online. And then also a little more information on showing live qualifiers and how you can set it up. And our next webinar will be Wednesday, 8 p.m., same time, and we'll dive into some more advanced AthleticLIVE features such as protest management, how to send tweets whenever results come in from your management system, how to send them yourself, and how to allow others to do that, as well as a few different things. So that concludes this portion of Learn Athletic Live number 2. And now I'll go ahead and dive into the Q&As and the chats and see if there's anything that I can help answer here. All right, cool. So Clyde mentioned in the chat that there's a hidden setting that will add the time at the last split. Graham mentioned it's called fill-in time and is in the hidden settings. That way, when you shift enter on the final split, it will automatically fill in the finish time instead of having to do an enter as well. Sweet. I love learning stuff on these webinars. It's that way you don't need to keep track of the laps. That's awesome. Excellent tip. Thanks a bunch. Cool. I don't know exactly where that is in the hidden settings, but I'll find that out and then post that along with this, because that's definitely a good thing to know. So if you've never gone into the link's hidden settings before, obviously beware. There's a lot of stuff you can change in here that can get you in trouble. But you go to File, Control Shift and click Options. You come in here and see a whole bunch of settings. I'm going to guess this is maybe an event. On the option screen, we're going to enter the lap device. We're going to mention this in the option screen where you enter the lap device, fill in place right there. Cool. And then so hit OK. Give this a try here. So options, event.
Ben, it's actually under lap time.
And then Fill in time. Cool. Refers to whether the final split results will populate the time field. Off, HW type none, always. So, fill place field. 1, fill in time 1. So I'll go ahead and hit that to 2 and see if that does it. So let's go ahead and open the boys 1600. 2, okay, thanks Clyde, awesome. So let's see here. Let's get some times coming in. And so let's do 1, second split. Let me go ahead and mark my laps. Third split, 2, and I keep hitting the wrong number. So, all right, 2, and then 2. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that tip. Thanks, Clyde and Morgan. Yeah, so it's just that fill-in time. So you got to go to File, Control-Shift Options, go to Lap Time, fill-in time, set that to 2, and then you don't have to worry about clicking Enter and keeping track of laps because, yeah, if you're doing 17 people in a race, that can be pretty annoying, especially if you've got a whole bunch of lappers. Do I need to click Enter for this person that crosses? Do I not? So having that setting in place is pretty sweet. So thanks again, guys, for pointing that out. So lots of great questions today. Like Graham and Kim have helped answer those. I'll just go ahead and mention those online here in the next 10 or 20 minutes just to get everything on video because these are all some good questions. So Carrie asked, when all the split showed up after the race was final, did it come from Lynx or did that route through High Tech? So as Graham mentioned, that data did route from High Tech. So in FinishLynx, we're only going to get the cumulative split and the last split. So in our case right here, let me go ahead and go back to our race. So right now, our final time here is 35.90, and the last split was a quarter of a second. So we're only seeing that cumulative split and that lap split on the final results. Once you upload the data from High Tech or from Meet Pro, that's where you're going to see the really nice view that has the splits in a grid like this. So yeah, thanks for that question there, Carrie. See, Jim asked, so when you go back to break that tie by the thousandths, does that appear? Yeah, as Graham mentioned, yeah, that'll appear when you break that tie in High Tech and upload. So on the live scoreboard, we are seeing that these two folks, they're in they're currently tied for 8th place. They have that Q and that question mark next to them. Then when you bring it into High Tech, you break that tie, you upload it. That's going to then show online. So while the results are in that live FinishLynx state, they are, you're not sure. And then when you as the timer bring them into your Meet management system, review them, make sure it all looks good, that's when they're going to get uploaded and it's going to become final. All right, next question was asked by Lynn. If you set links to thousands, wouldn't that change the live qualifiers? It would, but we always recommend, and as Graham mentioned here again, we always recommend sending up hundreds to the live scoreboard. That's what the final results are going to be in. So technically here, I could be displaying thousands by just going into scoreboard, going down to my results scoreboard and changing this time position to thousands. And I'm just going to hit Alt and E to refresh the scoreboard. So this guy right here, this refresh all. So that's going to change it to thousands here. Yeah, we don't recommend that because one, it wouldn't show that tie, which I think you would want to do. If there was two people in the same heat or in separate heats that were that close, I think you as the timer want to reserve that opportunity to just take a quick look at that before that gets out, before that becomes final. Take a look at that. Obviously, the camera's all set up and it's looking great. Your marks are great. really shouldn't matter, but it's just because times are recorded in hundreds, we always recommend to send up to the scoreboard in hundreds. Cool. And we've got a question that just came in here from Jim, going to go over missed laps. Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and we'll touch on that right now. So what happens if you miss a lap, and how do you correct that? So I'll go ahead here, and let me just go ahead and reopen this event, and we'll touch on that. So boys 1600 meter run. I'm just going to make DNS a few folks because we don't need to be testing this against 17 different people. So let's take this use case where, let's go ahead and put 5 people in here, and a use case where, hey, maybe we just happen to click the wrong split, or we don't see a person. How can we fix that right while we're in this event, instead of having to wait until someone catches it later, or try and fix it sometime later in the meet? So let's go ahead and start the event. Let's make sure we're set for 4 laps right here. And let's go ahead, wait till at least 10 seconds here. Start getting some stuff, start getting some capture. So this first split we'll do correctly. So got my first split, second one, third person's come in. And we can see as I click these, that number of laps is going down. So we can see, okay, now all 5 folks have come through. They're all down to 3 laps. That's great. So let's say we come through on the second lap, and I'm moving kind of quick, or what can happen sometimes, and it happens just as often on the finish, but on the split, maybe you've got 2 guys that are just right neck and neck next to each other, and as you're moving through this quickly, you don't see that person. So let's say 1 and 2 are next to each other, but I just hit 1 and then move through to 3, 4, 5. And maybe they're moving pretty quick, and I don't catch this right now, but if I were to look, I'd see that, hey, this person right here has, they've got 3 laps left, and everybody else has 2, which could mean this person got lapped, but it's the second lap, so probably not. But anyway, let's say we go through our 3rd lap here. So second to last lap, and I go ahead and I see, cool, there's 1, there's 2, there's 4, there's 5, and there's 3. Well, wait a second. 2 should have been in second place. Why is he showing up here with 2 laps to go? So that's where this comes in handy. So you can see there's something wrong here. So I can take a look, go to lap time, click edit split times. And this isn't super helpful now because these are just test times, but if this were an actual 1600 and you missed this guy's second lap, you'd see that his first lap is, let's say, 65 seconds, and his second lap is 1:40. So you know that there's a problem in between that first and second lap. So you can head back here and say, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and mark him, I think. I don't know where I am. So there's first lap, cool, and second lap right here. So I'll mark him, boom, he's back up to second place, and everybody's on the same number of laps. We're good to go. Let's also say another use case where maybe you double click somebody. So let's say that right here, we happen to accidentally double click this guy. So right now, we're on the last lap, but this person's showing that there's 0 laps to go. And thanks Clyde and Morgan for that note here. So I just click Shift Enter, and that time came in, the finish time came in right here, and we can see that she's showing he's finishing. So obviously we've got some kind of problem there. Same thing, I'm gonna go to my lap time, take a look at edit split times, and I can see, oh, well, there's 0.01 seconds here. Obviously there's some kind of issue. Let me go ahead and delete that. I'll click delete on that. And then now he's back with 1 lap to go, and now we're all set to mark our finish. So those are the 2 basic use cases that you might typically run into. Is you forgot to click somebody at some point, and you go into that edit lap screen and take a look, or you double click somebody. And once you get used to this, it's something you can definitely click. You can definitely click on here, maybe while they're on the other side of the track, trying to figure out what's going on, scroll back and find them and mark that. Cool. So yeah, Jim, I hope that helped explain that a little bit, how you can add splits, check splits whenever you need to. Yeah, and a good point there, Clyde. Yeah, so in that case, because a final time was put in here, I've actually got to delete that before a final time would be recorded. So now I can mark the rest of these guys. Just pointing that out. Still learning this fill-in time thing here, but I love it. All right, cool. So let's take a look. All right, so Greg asked a question. If web connectivity is lost for a bit, so some events do not get posted live, will everything reconnect automatically once the computer gets reconnected? And two, I'm assuming the pushing data from high tech gets everything up to speed. Great question. So when it comes to compiled results, let's say we're in a 10 heat event and somehow internet went out for heats 5 and 6. That data will not be there. So if it comes back for heat 7, you're going to have heats 1 through 4 and heat 7. You can get back up to speed by uploading that heat by heat data from your meet management system. So let's just take that example right now. Let's open up. Let's go to the boys 300. So let's do heats 1 and 3. Just get some times here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Save that. I'll say internet goes out right now, and we only get heat 3 up there. We'll do that here. Okay, so in our compiled results, we are only showing heats 1 and 3. So from the meet management system, and obviously, I'll go ahead and do that. So let's just go in here. We'll just turn off our scoreboards to simulate lack of internet. I'll go to heat 2. And we can see heat 2 is not showing up here. Get some times. It's fine. All right, so nothing's showing up. And obviously, in this exact example, it would just be the last heat I record that comes in, so you'd upload final results anyway. But let's say that it wasn't for a second. So got my heats 1 through heats 1 and 3 here. If I go into my meet management system, pull these times in, and if I hit F11 in high tech to upload that second heat, that will then get populated in here in these compiled results when it gets uploaded. We'll just give that a second here. Cool, so there they are. So now you're back up to speed. So yeah, the internet connection gets lost. You as the timer have to realize that maybe you've got these compiled results up on one of your screens. You can see, hey, looks like we're missing a heat, or maybe in the by heat section here, see we've only got 1 through 3. Yeah, so there's a bug I need to fix. So we need to make sure that those that heat 2 results are coming up in this by heat as well. But that would be a way to see it. So thanks very much for that question. Great question. All right, just got a few more minutes here before we end the webinar for the night. So I'll just, I think there were a couple more questions here. I'll see if I can go through. I know Graham and Kim have already answered these, but just answer. I just want to get them on video here so we can save this for later. So Max got a question. The qualifier setting is an option, correct? I can envision coaches coming with screenshots of their kid qualifying prior to all the heats being completed. So as Kim mentioned, yes, that is optional. Yeah, so that obviously that's at your discretion as a timer. You know, if you're going to a meet where you're much more likely to get lots of folks coming up to you and asking questions, or if you're going to a meet where they just want to get data as fast as possible. So that is a setting. If you edit your meet, I'll just expand this screen here. Edit your meet, head down to near the bottom where there's statistics. There's a checkbox, show live or show qualifiers on live results. So you uncheck that, all that functionality with live qualifiers will not appear. yeah, thanks for that question. That's a good note. All right. Greg asked a question. If you need to go back to verify a result in Lynx, does reopening that file make it appear as live again? It's a great question. So yeah, if you were to, let me just read Graham's response here to make sure that, 1 second. Yeah, so so what Graham said is correct, and I'll just reiterate. So if you have not uploaded final results from HiTech, then it will appear live here in the status, and it'll appear live in these live results. And actually, even, yeah, if you haven't, so the reason I'm hemming and hawing a little here is if there's a use case where you've got like split sessions for an event. So say like you're at a college meet and they're doing all the slow sessions in the middle of the day, and they're doing the fast session at night in the TV session or something like that. If you were to reopen it, it would show in live events here, yes. So if you reopen something, fix it, it's going to show back up in live events. But I guess if you do upload final results, then this status won't change. It would just appear on the live scoreboard. So I'm not sure I answered that super well. So if you want to follow up with me after, I'd be more than happy to discuss this even further. But yeah, so it's safe to assume that if you open something in Lynx, it's going to show up on the live scoreboard. Cool. So in the last question I'm seeing here, when the finals are seeded, do you have to upload that manually from HiTech, or does it happen automatically? Great question. So yes, at this point, you do need to push the heat sheets to the web again. So once you do your finals, you would need to go into web, and you would need to click upload heat sheets or performance list. So just show that as an example here. So we can seed our girls 100 and 200, click start seeding, save. And then if I go to web and I upload those heat sheets, those will appear here very shortly. Great question. Cool, and we just got one more question here, and then that'll end it for the night. What's the best way to get connectivity on the field without hardwired internet available? Great question. So I know myself, some other timers that I know, they have a lot of success with just a hotspot. So you can get hotspots from a number of different places. If you've got a phone plan with Verizon or with Sprint, you can get one of those hotspots. I've had a lot of luck with a Google Fi SIM card or a Google Fi data SIM, just in a hotspot that you purchase that's unlocked. So really just if anything, any kind of hotspot, any way to get some kind of internet connectivity down there wirelessly. You can also use your phone hotspot too. That's pretty good. One thing to note is that you're not uploading a ton of data here, so you don't need to worry about having tons and tons of bandwidth. These files that get uploaded from HiTech are like less than, I mean, maybe a few kilobytes, or if if you've got like a 200-person race, maybe they're like 20 kilobytes. And the data getting uploaded from FinishLynx, same deal. For the most part, these are like 3 kilobyte messages that are being sent. So even if you're, doing an all-day meet, you got tons of events, you're probably using 20 or 30 megabytes of data. So it doesn't need to be something that is, you're not trying to stream video from the meet. You're just trying to upload stuff and have some decent connectivity. So, any kind of hotspot you can buy from a major provider, or find something like a Google Fi SIM card. Put that into a hotspot that you purchase, or just use your phone hotspot, and that should serve you well. Okay, thank you all very much for joining tonight. Really appreciate you spending the time, spending an hour tonight playing track with me. And look forward to seeing you all next week when we talk about some more of Athletic Live's advanced features. Have a great rest of the night and enjoy the weekend.